You'll be sweating.
Yeah, you see like all the physical beats of sweat.
Yeah.
It'll be rough.
Your hands are gonna be like.
Yeah, I'm gonna look like I have like a disease. Like, this guy's not okay.
Deep breaths.
Someone watches. Okay.
Hello. Welcome back to That'll Do with Brystin Ivey. I'm your host, Brystin Ivey. Yeah, we took a really long break. A lot of personal stuff happened. I wasn't really in town a lot, and so the first thing I wanted to do to kind of get my life back to normal was definitely get this going again. So yeah, that aside, there's definitely going to be more content and also like a more continuous flow of content. I'm gonna try not to take like super long breaks anymore, just because I do appreciate the people who listen, and I do want to establish an audience, definitely. So, my guest today, we got fucking blast from the past. Kid I used to go to high school with, Josh Omoregie.
How you guys doing?
We also have a returning Kim Clemons.
Hey guys.
And Zach Hunter's here.
I'm back.
You never left, but
Yeah.
Nice.
it's good to hear from you. Yeah.
That's been a while.
Yeah, man. Just real quick though, like, how are you like? Since you're so new to Tally,
God.
how are you liking it? Because a lot of people,
It's different. So, I mean, the first thing I noticed about Tallahassee, it looks a lot like Southern Georgia.
yeah,
It's
I've heard
not.
that before.
Yeah, we're about
It's
like
40 minutes from Georgia.
We're basically Georgia.
Is it?
It
is weird?
starts actually being Florida right around like Orlando.
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
It's like, you go from Tampa, like the flatlands, and then
Yeah.
you get, 5 hours north, and it's literally hills everywhere you go.
Just in Tallahassee.
But that was the first amongst like a lot of things. So, I mean, being like a college student, like that.
That's right. 'Cause this is like a second time for
This
you.
is the
Yeah.
second time, yeah.
Is it weird returning? Is it like intimidating?
It's not weird. It's like, I feel like if anything, you learn from it the first time, and you just attack it the second time. It's like something you don't want to lose. The will to want to do it again. Some people really just drop out, like don't come back for that degree.
Yeah, I feel like most people who drop out don't come back. Like,
I'm serious. Like it just brings out the person in you. You really want to just chase it, and I don't know. You're more than ever determined just to get it this time. So I'm excited more, if anything.
do you think that determination makes it a little easier than your first go around?
I wouldn't say easier, but it'll definitely get me through times where I first go out in college, I didn't think I'd be able to get through.
Yeah,
Like the first time you stress about like an exam.
So, are you going for the same thing you were going for back in Bethune?
No, actually.
Where were you going the first time?
When I was at Bethune, I was actually majoring in psychology. My mom, my mom is a school psychologist.
Right, I think John mentioned that. Yeah.
So I don't know, and I guess that's where we'll get to our subject later on about how me thinking, doing what I wanted to do with like my mom's profession was what I wanted and what was best for me, and it wasn't. So
yeah, I'm glad you found that out early because I feel like most people get pretty deep, and then it's like, oh shit, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
Figuring it out early, that mental toughness. Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And so what are you going for now?
Right now I'm actually choosing between audio engineering. As you know, we had a big passion for like the same music, and I've always wanted to learn how to mix and master my own songs. But it'll be between audio engineering and business marketing. I've just always had a business mind as far as wanting to bring a product to the people. I feel like I did that best.
Yeah, especially if that product happens to be your music.
There you go.
Ooh,
that would be. I mean, have you thought about like double majoring at all?
I've given it a thought, but right now I'm going into semester undecided.
I feel
so we'll think about it.
It's a safe way to play. Yeah. I think I was undecided for like 2 years. Yeah. No shame. I think it's funny because like I can't see you as like you say psychology.
Yeah.
I just can't see you as like Dr. Omoregie. Like I can't.
That sounds really cool though.
Yeah, I mean, no one really thinks about it, but like I mean, you get to really like thinking about like how the human mind works and interacts with other people is probably the gnarliest thing you'll ever get into.
Oh, I bet.
Because it changes your perception. It changes the way that you come at people that maybe you're just not used to. It's a whole other vibe. I think it's like, I think if anything, everyone should minor in psychology. That's just my, that's my,
I agree.
that's my biased opinion. That's
I minored in psychology also.
Yeah. Do you share the same like passion, Zach? Like, do you agree with him?
I think it's really important to understand how the human mind works in pretty much any aspect of your life or in career.
Definitely.
I mean, if you understand how, to interact with people, how people work, you'll probably have a successful career and a successful life.
Yeah, I feel like it's
To
a
some
major
degree.
or a reminder that like it can't hurt you. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Like having that information can only help you.
Benefit,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. But I can so see the audio engineering like that's.
Yeah. I could definitely see myself like mixing, mastering music for up and coming artists. That'd be great. And like, not just to do it for like the name of it, but like just because it's a passion. Like,
Oh yeah.
And you get to travel a lot of places, probably.
It's deep rooted. Absolutely. The traveling, the just experiencing everything while you're doing something you love.
That's the goal, dude. Honestly. Yeah.
Would you move to Nashville or anything like that?
Oh yeah.
Try to get a job up
Music
there?
hub of the world.
That
Yeah.
would be ideal.
I was just over there. It's really, really cool.
I'm honestly not a big fan of the cold.
I see.
Hey, right now it's
20
like
years
98
of-
degrees, so.
I don't blame you, dude.
20 years in Florida will do that to you, for sure.
Honestly.
Definitely. I don't know, I'd relocate. I'd do like small side projects. If you need me up there for 30 days a month, I can do that for you.
Are you gonna stick to like our genre?
I don't think. Listen, I think rock is like old metal. I'll be more
Yeah,
specific.
whatever you want
It's-
to call it.
Right.
Screamo nowadays.
Right. Just give it a name.
It's fine, yeah.
It's dwindling as far as like the people that I know, or like younger kids that are starting to listen to music. It's like it's a dwindling kind of like genre.
What's everyone listening to now, you think?
Rap.
Mainstream.
Yeah.
Mainstream?
Hip hop. Music.
Yeah, I see that.
It's definitely a change. Like people you wouldn't think, and not even a stereotype, but people that are going outside and you're like, oh, you listen to Egos, and they're like singing the whole verse, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
like it's really traveled. Like it's, like it's crazy. It's crazy. Definitely not 5 years ago. It's changed.
Oh, dude, absolutely. Yeah. And it works like vice versa too, because like there'll be people I meet that you wouldn't expect for a second. They listen to like Bring Me the Horizon and like ask me how much they do. Like I mean, I think it still has like a little community, but dude, I definitely agree with you. Like it's dwindling, and that's scary because I don't like
Very
change.
small, very close to it.
Yeah. So would you kind of like expand genres, or is there one like you're definitely rooting for? Tough question.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I think that's what I'm gonna leave it to being undecided up until about August or September. Watch decided that. Oh yeah.
You got mad time.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah. It's not interrogation like you're good.
No, you're good. But it'll definitely be between those two for sure.
Mhm.
Like it's been narrowed down from about 5. So.
Have you taken any like business classes yet?
Kind
Kind of get a feel of what it's like?
just your basic math, gen ed.
Oh, okay.
But I think I just have like I don't know. I feel like having the drive to want to just complete something more than anything.
Yeah.
Can kind of push you through thinking about how difficult it might be.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You know.
What aspect of business marketing would you be interested in if you were to get into that?
Good question.
We're just like interrogating Josh here. All these life choices.
You don't have to answer the
I like being
question.
on the show. No, dude, I've always thought about social media, man. Going on, setting up different promotions, running different ads for people. Like, I like the whole spectrum.
It's definitely something you can get into
Yeah.
now, dude. It's blowing
It's
up.
growing so
Absolutely,
fast.
yeah. I don't know about you guys, but at least for like my internship, I was put on as like a videographer, and I'm being asked to push like social media campaigns.
Oh, that's
Being asked
completely
to
what
just-
I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Exactly.
like
All he
you
wants
know.
is like, what can we put on our Instagram? What can we put on
yeah,
our
it's
Facebook?
such a huge
Everyone
part of
wants
culture
that.
now. Like, if you're gonna market anything, you have to have a media presence.
Oh, you have to. You
Completely.
can't really be a business unless you have like a website, accounts.
It's becoming more prominent than television,
Right.
and that's been evident for
Yes.
years.
Oh,
but
people
like,
are not watching television
Yeah,
very
but
much at
I
all.
don't want to
Yeah.
let go of that though.
it's scary.
Yeah.
It's really
Yeah.
You know
scary.
what I think it is though?
What's up?
I think nowadays people are sort of like separating their originality to follow where the money's going.
Oh, completely.
And it's like full regalian. They're just going after the money. If there's a big pop mainstream and everyone's hopping in it, originality's just going out the window.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that with like my past internship I did. With, like,
Is it the food one?
yeah, I don't know if I want to continue making videos for them because they're just changing so much, and I don't like the direction they're going, and I feel like they're chasing some like, you know, mainstream idea that's not originality anymore. They don't want me to go out and film my own content. They want me to go source from Instagram and Facebook and just put clips together that other people have filmed. And it's like,
see,
that's not what I'm here for.
That's not
So,
fun.
I mean, no, I agree. Like to the same level, people nowadays are just going out and, you know, following mainstream, and it's not that it's like superficial. Because I'll be honest, I listen to some of those songs. You know, some of them have a really good beat.
Yeah, I'm not gonna shit on like mainstream. It's just it's apparent.
Let's be
Everyone's
honest,
going,
but everyone is just it's just redundant. It's I need a little bit of a different flow now. My personal opinion, and a lot of people may or may not have heard about the rapper XXX Temptation.
Yeah.
Got shot killed last year. It's crazy,
I
right?
heard about that.
Yeah, it's awful.
Didn't
Honestly,
hear about
Yeah.
that was horrible.
He was like another kind of mime, like a Kanye West kind of like before he got crazy Kanye West.
Okay. I was gonna like put an asterisk there.
To be continued.
Mm-hmm.
No, but I really enjoyed his music, and you know, just different kind of original minds like that is something that we need for sure. And music today, definitely.
But I mean, I will say, in kind of like the opposite of what you're saying, because I agree with what you're saying, but kind of also the opposite. When you go to places like, especially college university or like university campuses, you meet people who listen to that niche music, and like just by hanging out with them and like being a part of their life, it's almost like the music's brought out.
Yes.
So it's kind of like, you know, it's becoming. I don't think it'll ever be mainstream,
Definitely agree.
but like just the weird sounds are kind of being captured like in these niche communities, and like those are the people that are like inadvertently bringing it like to the forefront, which I think is really cool. But what's the issue with that is like what happens when there's so many niche communities and they're all trying to go mainstream. They can't all make it, you know what I mean?
yeah, they're gonna get lost.
At some point, then we'll have to get back to people being forced to get back to originality.
I'm glad that you, and well, I mean even Josh Dixon, who I just know listens to this. I'm glad that like people I know in my life are like pursuing music the way that you are, because it was definitely something I thought I was going to do for the longest time. Because I've played like a couple instruments, I played guitar my entire life.
Oh yeah.
And it was always something that I was like, I want to do this. You know, I have dreams of like being on stage and doing that. But it's the older I get, the more I realize it's becoming a hobby. Like I cannot sit here and spend all this money on camera equipment, all this stuff, and then immediately switch and spend money on amps, spend money on, you know, microphones and everything. It has to take a back seat to like, you know, what I want to do with my life.
Right.
And it's sad.
I think that's cool. I mean, I think it's awesome. Personally, like, I tell everyone, here's what I say. And honestly, I hate the stigma about parents giving you a certain, you know, major to follow that they think is going to benefit you financially.
Mm-hmm.
You have to love what you do every day, because it's not like you're going out, you're getting a degree, and you can just kind of choose and pick and bounce. You want to have a steady job,
Oh, absolutely.
grow a family, retire, right?
Mhm.
Why listen to what your parents are going to tell you to do, to be forced to do for the rest of your life? It makes no sense. It doesn't add
Yeah,
up.
it's not their lives.
It's
you
not
know?
their lives to live. They want what's best for their kid, but they can't see through what their kids are seeing through right now. And a lot of them aren't here as far as like how we're moving, you know, quickly with technology development. It's
Oh, that's true.
they
Yeah.
can't.
Well, our parents didn't grow up with all this technologies. Like my parents are really old-fashioned because they're a little older than most parents, so they don't understand social media. They don't understand technology. They think it's dangerous and scary, but it's the future, you know. So
Yeah.
Well, the future's scary though.
It is.
it is scary.
Yeah.
It is scary, but
It
you
is.
know they have to start adapting with it.
No, I mean, my mom, she shared the same sentiment. Honestly, she grew up in the 70s, but was what I considered pretty conservative, like with the way that she wanted to go about, you know, raising and,
Yeah.
you know, stuff like that. So typically with a parent like that, they're gonna want their kid to be sort of like an image of themselves.
Yeah.
And that can get to where like the crossroads kind of collide. You know?
That can get dangerous real fast, because if they want a mini-me, and you're not gonna be the carbon copy they want you to be, like, you run into some issues.
Yeah, and people are like, do I choose my family? Do I choose what I love? And it's like, you shouldn't have to make that choice. Your family should support what you love.
Have you encountered any problems with that, Kim?
Well, I mean, so my mom is like a doctor, and my dad's like a pilot, and so their whole thing is like, oh, there are 3 careers you can do, you know, become a doctor, a lawyer, like an engineer type thing, you know? So, I always wanted to like write and direct movies, even though I don't want to do that now. I really did want to do that when I was younger. Because I really liked to write and I really liked to direct, and I really liked movies. And they were like, I don't know about that. We're not going to pay for any degree like of movie making. And so my dad was like, if you go and get like a nursing degree, you know, then we'll pay for whatever other degree you want after that. And I was
so
like,
they at least want you to
yeah. So I kind of
exactly.
So I kind of got roped into that. And so for a little bit, I was taking like nursing classes. I was taking like anatomy and physiology 1 and 2 at the local college, and like medical terminology, and I was trying to check the boxes off for like nursing school and stuff like that. And then I came to start touring colleges, and I came here to FSU first, and I found out they had this major, digital media production, which is like in their college of communications. Heck yeah, the best major. And I was like, whoa, this sounds like exactly what I want to do as well.
Awesome.
And that was something that I think they could understand a little more, because it's in the College of Communications. It's not like something crazy like film.
Right.
You know, and they really don't want me to go off to Hollywood and like become one of those like crazies in Hollywood. So
you got the compromise there.
yeah, basically, yeah, and then like it was exactly what I wanted pretty much. So I did kind of shift gears, and I was like, you know what, Hollywood is a lot of like. You know, it's a lot to deal with. It's a lot to get used to. So I was like, maybe I don't want to do that level of film, but I knew I wanted to do like video work. So digital media production sounded perfect. And then I didn't want to graduate in 3 years. So I picked up another major, and I think that made my parents happier. I want to be here as long as possible, you know?
They're trying to make all of us fucking graduate early, dude.
I know, yeah, they want us in and out. I'm like, no.
Ready.
I think I'll get another major. So that's when I picked up business, and I think my parents are like pretty happy now that I have the business to fall back on, possibly, even though I never want to do anything with business. Unless it involves my own like video company.
See, there you go. That's why business is never really a bad skill.
Yeah, it's never a bad skill to have, and even with your own personal finances, it's very helpful. And someday I would like to do like freelance video work for companies, and I think that could help a lot. So.
Or like you said, if you ever want to do like your own production company.
Yeah, exactly. I think a lot of videographers do that. A lot of videographers are freelancing their work. Especially nowadays, and because you can work
Says
from
the
home.
freelance videographer.
I'm not a professional.
I mean, how is that the freelance videography? Like, what goes into that?
I mean, it's obviously you got to chase your work, and if you get good enough, people will ask you. I haven't been doing it long enough for like that to really be a thing. But I enjoy doing it. And it's
How long have you been doing it for?
Probably. It just kind of started happening. Like people started saying, "Oh, well, can you do this for me or whatever?" And then I just started doing like free stuff.
A lot of people take advantage of videographers and expect them to do free work for them. Like
it's like
yeah, and I have a friend at a film school, and he did a bunch of work for like churches and stuff, and they never paid him like a single cent. He put hours into their videos.
That's because they don't
understand what goes on.
Into a
yeah,
video. Like,
exactly.
You don't film for an hour and then hand them a video.
Yeah.
You edit for like
10 hours for like a 30-second video. You know, it's like it's crazy. Because people watch those videos on Facebook, like those little like tasty videos all the time, and they're like, oh, that takes like no time. But like I've done those cooking videos, and it takes like 4 hours to film and like 12 hours to edit, and it's literally a 40-second video.
Well, yeah, and you were talking about uniformity. All the fucking cooking videos on Facebook look exactly the same.
Exactly.
And then that music they have in the background,
the YouTube
like
music,
the glockenspiel or whatever.
Or like the Gordon Ramsay.
Oh, right,
but like that's his personality. If he made tasty videos, dude, that would be great. I want that.
He'd be making something that just like starts cussing up his stomach in the middle of it.
I'd pay to watch.
And that's his thing, you know. That's what makes him different than everyone else, and that's what makes him a lot of money. And he's very popular because of it. Because he has that. I don't think he's really like that in real life. I think he puts it on.
He's actually supposedly a really nice guy.
Oh, I'm sure.
that it has to be like a TV.
I'm sure
Yeah,
it's
like
a
a-
TV
yeah,
thing.
yeah,
'Cause
exactly.
who would watch a nice Gordon Ramsay, you know, if he wasn't telling people that they're...
You say that, but he has like a kids cook show.
Yeah.
Oh, the
And
Master
you
Chef
yeah,
Oh, I
kid.
he's
saw
it.
super
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
For all the
And then
kids,
I watched
yeah.
the regular Master Chef, and he's just like so mad at them. He's like, "What's this? I can't believe you make this
Or
crap."
Hell's Kitchen back in the day.
Kitchen nightmares.
Oh, yeah.
Kitchen Nightmares.
I watched
Yeah.
the shit of the Kitchen Nightmares.
Oh, I know, I watched
That's
that
my
a ton.
favorite show.
Like these people invite him over there, and they don't want to listen to him. He just like,
But that
It's
the
crazy.
show Kitchen Nightmares, like he went onto the and on air and like trashed restaurants, like just completely shat on restaurants.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then, like, is the publicity of just like him being there shitting on the restaurant enough for them to warrant like the show altogether? Like,
Apparently,
Like,
Is it?
this is like his sixth
if
show
he,
now.
If he trashes a restaurant, that
Yeah,
restaurant like is kind of in trouble.
yeah, exactly.
You know, like if I see that, health inspectors are on their way.
But he fixes them. So.
He does fix them. I think if it was just him in a room yelling at people, that wouldn't be enough. Like he's got to help
He still
them
has to have
Yeah,
that
exactly.
personality.
Yeah, that little ounce of good in Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah, and like how he'll totally redo their restaurant for them and redo their menu, but he's also like, this place sucks.
Yeah.
I can't believe that this has been open for this
So that
long.
shit.
What- What do you think Gordon Ramsay's parents think about what Gordon Ramsay does?
Oh god.
We're sitting here talking about us. What do you think they think? Their son
Are
just
they
fucking-
Scottish?
Are they Scottish?
I don't know, I think they're British.
Well, the people think that Gordon Ramsay is British, and he in fact gets on everyone who calls him out and says he's British.
No
Like,
way.
Scottish.
He's Scottish. I have so
He does
much
not
more
have a-
respect for him now.
He does not have a Scottish accent.
But it's funny. It doesn't sound like it, but I've seen him do it on the show a couple times.
Really?
I know, I always wonder what people think of their kids who go off and try to make careers out of like professional cooking, you know?
I was like,
I
because
think
my
that was-
sister wanted to go that route,
Oh,
and then
really?
she realized she couldn't cook, so that was shot down very fast.
And I'm not friends with many Scottish people, but he really perpetuates a stereotype for like an angry Scottish man. Like,
Oh,
I bet the Scottish people are really
completely, yeah,
upset.
dude.
they
We hate Gordon Ramsay.
At least he's like sober. If he was like a drunk, it would just be like,
Oh my
that's,
gosh.
that's a Scottish guy.
Can you
That's a
imagine a
Scottish
drunk
guy.
Gordon Ramsay show?
Oh god.
That'd be great.
I'd watch that.
I'd watch that so much.
I bet he would just be super nice.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
he's
can you
super mean.
imagine?
He's really upset sober. You get him a little drunk, and he's like, "No, it's actually okay. Like it's fine. It's hard. It's fine."
I was there once too, guys.
Yeah, right.
Because now they have that cooking show on Netflix where like they get really high and they cook, you
Oh
know?
my god.
That's like the new one on Netflix. I don't know what it's called, but it's
Is that
Write
the
that down.
Action Bronson one?
no, it's
Oh
new.
no way! Action Bronson is a fucking Netflix show.
Oh no, I'm
Are you-
thinking of another one.
Are you thinking of the one where they watch movies?
It's called Fuck That's Delicious.
Oh,
I've actually heard of that.
Yeah.
Is that a
I haven't
YouTube
heard of that. I
channel?
want to watch
I think it was on Comedy Central. I know.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I'm thinking of something
Well,
else.
now they have a new
But
show on Netflix.
it's something similar to that.
Yeah, the cooks get high and they cook. Most TV shows are not doing well these days, so we have to have at least something.
Yeah, we gotta have something holding us there. Cause
Oh,
God.
yeah. I was just like, my little cousin watches Disney Channel. I'm like, what is this crap? What is being put out on television?
You say that. But Cartoon Network, I was watching it for like 6 hours the other day, like doing homework. Cartoon Network's got alright shows.
Oh, do they?
Yeah.
Good for them.
Like We Bare Bears.
What?
What?
Oh, you're not gonna recognize any
I
of
mean,
these.
I've heard of that. I've heard it's supposed to be like good. And,
What is it about?
It's about these three bears. And the one's like a panda, one's
Yes, I
a brown
saw
bear,
it.
and
Yeah.
one's
I've seen their little symbol.
a polar bear, but he calls himself Ice Bear, and he speaks in the third person.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's Dimitri Martin. You guys have seen the comedian?
I've heard the name.
And the
Yeah.
show's for kids?
The show's for kids, but like that show, they just released a new show that's a lot like Adventure Time, but back when Adventure Time was Adventure Time, not like the new shit. Like something like a summer camp, sleepaway camp, or something like that. Dude, I was like blown up. I called my mom. I was like, "Are you guys watching this? Like, this is important." Because you see so much shit on TV now.
Oh,
like
so
when you
bad.
find something good, it's like
Yeah.
holy shit! Like everyone,
You have to tell
watch
everyone.
this.
Yeah, you have to tell
exactly.
everyone about it.
And I think that goes back to what we were saying about TV's like fizzing out.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
like music, you know? It's like it's losing its
I
originality.
think Netflix,
Exactly.
Hulu, these up and coming streaming.
They're taking over
They're
cable
gonna
for sure.
definitely have like the bulk share.
Absolutely, dude. Yeah.
And I mean, it's going from like just TV shows now to movies to documentaries to. I just saw the other day. I think Netflix signed like a $2 million deal with the Obama family for like a 12-series document on Netflix.
Right.
Oh,
It's
wow.
because Obama and Michelle are like helming it, right? Oh, dude, I'm
And-
super excited for that.
Well, I just thought it was cool that they can get someone of like that caliber to just want to collaborate. You know what I mean?
That's
Mhm.
With the company. Like,
It just shows
that's
how
cool.
powerful Netflix is becoming.
Oh, yeah.
So powerful.
The
They're making
influence.
their own movies like
They've
all
got
the time.
Netflix
so
originals
many
are
originals.
Netflix originals are really
over.
good. The videography in Netflix originals is so good.
The cinematography is amazing.
It's absolutely amazing.
And like they're writing a lot of the times. I don't know if any of you guys watch BoJack Horseman.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, dude, it's like my new favorite because you don't see shit like that on TV.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's got a very HBO quality to it.
Yeah.
And I think that's why so many people are drawn to it.
Yeah, where it doesn't have to be censored and stuff like that. Like there are a lot of guidelines on cable that you don't always have when you're doing
Exactly.
like HBO or Netflix.
But I definitely agree.
People, I think they like that. You know, it's very refreshing.
That could be what's leading this. Is like you're used to like if you're on. There's such a demand for like YouTube videos and like Facebook videos, and since a lot of them are like, you know, just open to the public, a lot of them do cuss. A lot of them are like
Yeah, exactly.
very vivid in like the things they're not supposed to show on television. So now we almost kind of are conditioned to like that. Like when things are censored, it's like, oh, it kind of almost like upsets you, you know?
It's not realistic most of the time. They can't show realistic things.
Yeah, it's just like
Sometimes,
a bump.
raw and like uncut.
Yeah, exactly. That's
I
what
mean,
people
so
want to
something
see.
It's refreshing, kind of just like to see what the originality of it was for sure.
Exactly. I think that's what's doing it because now you have all these streaming services that are giving you that.
Yeah, they're giving you that permission to go wherever you want to go.
Yeah,
I
that's
think a lot of
addicting.
writers were probably very cut off, you know, with their creativity, with like all the networks like hounding them not to say certain things or show certain things.
Right.
So
A kind of a lower brow kind of reference to that is, did you guys ever watch America's Funniest Home Videos?
Oh yeah.
I did, yeah.
Grew up
If you
on that.
watch that nowadays, it's just not that funny
Oh,
compared to
really?
what you can find online.
oh, online, yeah.
Yeah,
The
think
thing is,
about
like,
that.
we were confined to what we thought was funny back then.
Exactly.
There's no, you know, YouTube.
Ray William Johnson?
No. YouTube was I'm trying to remember the year that they were founded. 2007.
2005. Yeah, I'm pretty sure YouTube was 05.
2005. Like, think about that. Most of us were born in like the mid to late 90s, and you think about what we did for fun back then to get a laugh, to get a joke or kick. It's like definitely not the same in 2018.
Oh, it's completely different.
Absolutely not. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Like just looking at how kids hang out now, it's like
such an iPhone world.
you share
Yeah.
videos, you share memes, you share pictures now, and back then you didn't really have to do that. So you kind of like, you know, did your own thing in person. And what people do for fun now has changed so much because of the internet. You know, hanging out with your friends is a completely different like style now these days. You know, you're sharing videos that you see on YouTube, you're sharing vines, and I always think it's cool. Not to go too off subject, but like. I think it's really neat how we all got to grow up in an age where we didn't have technology when we were
Right.
growing up,
I
but
was
now
just
we
gonna-
do.
And
And
now
a
we
bunch of kids now, they don't know a world without technology. But I
That's
totally remember like drawing with chalk on the sidewalk and
Oh my
like
God.
going outside and playing with my friends.
Yes.
And you had to go to your friend's house and knock on their door and be like, "You want to ride bikes together?" And now it's like kids just want to play video games together, like age 4.
Do you think that change is a good thing or a bad thing or
Not that it's
neither?
not
It
that it's good or
depends.
bad.
It's just
I know
different,
it's
you know?
necessary.
Well, yeah, and the direction the world's going, like they need to be that technologically like adept or savvy. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's making all of our lives easier. It's just a different environment.
That's what they tell you.
Yeah.
I don't know. Dude. Do you guys like try to get like Alexas and shit?
Oh no, I hate Alexa.
Does that interest you? Yeah. Does it work?
It's honestly pretty creepy.
Yeah.
And I say that because actually once while I was sleeping, Alexa told me what time it was. And I didn't ask her. I didn't shout Alexa.
Oh.
I wasn't saying her name in my sleep. I swear.
Alexa, Alexa, what's time?
I kid you not. I woke up to Alexa telling me it was like 2:40 or something.
That is so scary.
She's like a 6'6"
Yeah, my roommate's parents put one of those in, and she just turns on randomly, and it freaks me out.
Yeah,
I hate it.
You see all the commercials, it's like, yeah, set up your home alarm system to Alexa. It's
And
like,
your
no.
lights and like
What the
everything.
Fuck? No, yeah.
Your air conditioning, set everything up to Alexa.
Yeah. Are you guys seen like the fridges now that can like text you?
That
Your
kind of stuff
mom can
scares
text
me.
you on the fridge and it says dinner's ready or whatever.
No way.
Yeah, it blew my fucking mind. There's this commercial where these kids are upstairs in their room watching TV, right?
Right.
And the mom's like, kids, it's dinner time. And like none of the kids even hear it, right? Because the TV's so loud. So she types into the fucking refrigerator that it's dinner time. And the fridge stops the TV. Like
No way.
on the TV, it shows a screen that says dinner time, 7:00 or like whatever the time was. And then the kid's like, oh, I guess it's dinner time.
That just makes me sad.
That's freaky. I don't like that.
Go-
Fridge is not supposed to do that.
Go talk to your
Supposed to give
kids,
me
you
ice.
know?
This will be slightly off, and that's a great point. This will be slightly off topic, but
Yeah.
like you kind of think like, you wonder why the obesity rate's going up. Thinking that, really?
Yeah.
Now you've gotten to the point where technology's saying we cannot allow you to go upstairs and talk to your kid.
Yeah.
Now we can send text from your fridge when you're cooking.
Yeah. When do you even have to get up?
It's not okay.
Like, you know,
It's
something,
not our- yeah,
all,
right.
like,
You're absolutely
Publix
right.
and Walmart now will deliver groceries to you. Like, grocery shopping is this big deal that no one has time for
I still
anymore.
forward grocery shopping.
I still do.
I love grocery shopping.
And I will. That's like my shopping. Like how people spend hours shopping. I'm like 4 hours. I'm
Oh,
like
me
in
too.
Publix,
I'm
yeah.
every aisle, like, walking
I'm figuring out if I
around.
want goat cheese or like Montgomery. Like that.
I just remember, you know, the 4 or 5 year old kid in you that always wanted to push the cart.
Oh yeah.
Now you
Mom
can do
doesn't
it.
want to. And growing up and seeing it like so rapidly.
And think about what our parents have seen, or our grandparents. Like, my grandma,
Oh, yeah.
like, you know, they didn't even have the air heating or, like, running toilets practically. And, like, now we have all of this. And my grandma has, like, an iPhone, like, 10 now. And she's, like, 84.
It's
just, she doesn't know how to turn it on. Like, she'll FaceTime and you'll just see her ear. And it's like, Grandma, no, you have to, like, show me your face.
The entire time she's like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Like, Grandma, I can just see your ear. What are you saying?
It's crazy to think how it's gonna be when we're like.
Oh, I don't even
that
want to think
age,
about
like,
it.
If
Well,
it's
think about the
already.
new generation, grandma and grandpas. Like,
Yeah.
Holograms
Oh.
for everything. I really think that's
No
where
one
the
ever really
future's going.
dies. They just, you just have a hologram. They brought back like Tupac on stage.
Oh,
It scares me though, because like when you were kids and your grandparents would be like, you know, when I was your age, you were like, yeah, whatever. But
We're gonna be that one day, Bryson.
I'm
It's
already
gonna be
there.
us. Yeah, that's true.
I had to
To
teach
some
my
extent, yeah.
I had to teach my younger siblings what Foursquare was.
Oh, what?
They didn't know what that was.
Like the outside game?
Yeah, where you're the
Yeah,
four
yeah,
squares
yeah.
and you have like popcorn and like red or not. Is it called Red Rocket?
Sorry.
Yeah, it's like all those little games that I
Yeah.
played on the the playground
Recess.
for like 10, 13 years of my life.
Right.
They have no idea. And I'm like sitting there
Boy.
explaining, and I was like, well, you know, back in my day.
Back
and
in
it's
my
like I come full
And
circle.
then Bryson's like, oh my gosh, I'm a grandparent
I'm
already.
like,
I'm my current.
and my siblings aren't that much younger than me. It's
Yeah.
like 3 and then 13. It's crazy.
That's how fast technology is like just changing, you know?
In 1990, we didn't have easily accessible computers.
I
Most
know.
Not even 30 years passed,
And now we have phones.
We
We have
have them in our
computers in our
pockets.
hands.
reality was
In our
on that
hand.
era.
VR is essentially.
Virtual and then augmented.
Oh, you mean
Augmented
okay.
reality. Right?
That. Yeah, that one gets me. That one kind of freaks me.
Yeah, I'm not a
It's-
fan
yeah.
of that. Alright guys, we'll have to leave, but
No.
hey, little piece of last advice for everyone who's listening. Because since the topic is like majors and parents, I do just want to say like, just do whatever you like love doing, and I think success will follow. You know, like don't be tied down to what your parents think, because I just can't imagine being like working in a hospital. I hate hospitals, but I convinced myself that I would like it, you know, because my parents kind of told me that. But then I started thinking about it. I was like, I don't want to work 60 hours a week, like in a hospital, in a place I despise. So yeah, just make sure that what you're doing is something that you love, because you're going to be doing it for the rest of your life, you know? And that's like a scary thing to think about for me. But it's really not that scary if you think about like going to work and loving what you do. Like every time I go and film something, I'm like, this is so much fun. Like I love this, and I come back and I'm really tired, but it's like, it's so much fun. So Thanks again, Brystin, for
Of
having
course,
me.
Kim. I love having you guys here.
Aw, let me know next time you need help. I'll be happy to join.
Of course.
Bye, guys. It's nice meeting you.
Goodbye. Please come back.
I will, yes.
We need to start like Facebook live streaming this so people can listen live. I think
Oh,
that'd be
that'd be
pretty
so
fun.
I don't know
fun.
if we have that. You guys are acting like I have thousands of followers. We got like 20 people. You're like, no, we should bring it live.
Let's expand.
We'll do it live. We'll do it live, Brystin.
Kim very gingerly to shut the door.
That was awesome.
But I guess since Kim did mention, you know, her parents and like following your own goals as opposed to like what specifically they want you to do, I was lucky enough that like those two were the same for me. Like my parents never once were ever against film, or I used to think I wanted to be an animator.
Right.
I used to do animation, or like even when I went through like a theater spell when I was a kid, and like doing theater, like they never were against like anything I wanted to put my mind to.
Well,
But they're also like super artsy themselves.
that's awesome. I think you got lucky, first of all. But it's, you know, we're from Tampa, so you know this. There's a couple buddies that, you know, I know back home, and it's sad to see like these kids that graduated high school with, I mean, phenomenal GPAs are going into college. They're getting a degree that they don't want to get into. And when they get out and they're graduated and they're going into these internships and these first jobs, they're not happy. They're not happy doing it. And the time, the money that they had wasted going into this profession, it's like, you can't get that back.
Yeah.
So I guess the word of advice to everyone here is really, really chase what you love to do, because at the end of the day, you always want to make enough money to live. Be the first person in your genre of whatever it is that you're good at to make an exceptional amount of money. That's what you need to chase. Make that an end goal. Don't be afraid to, you know, if you got the household that wants you to be the doctor, the lawyer, the you know, superb mathematician, and what you love, what you want to chase is something in the sciences or something, you know, literature, however you want to do it. You know what I mean? Chase that. And if you're ever worried about financially, how is this job going to support me? Make it to where the job can support you.
Absolutely.
If you're going into a certain field and you're like, well, this is what the average person makes in this and this, okay, what can I do to be the first guy to make 100,000? Don't think binary. Don't think on the same level playing field. It's
Like, don't think in terms of everyone else.
right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you love it enough, you'll find a way to make it work.
Absolutely. 100%.
And I don't think though that you should strive to be so original that like you're pushing it. You know what I'm saying? Like you just try to be so the first one to do this, and it's like, well, nobody wants this. You know what I mean? Like you're not even happy doing this because you're just trying to be the first.
Well, sometimes in the art industry, you know, you gotta copy people until you find your own voice.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know.
I think just originality in a sense is just not finding what you want to aspire to be as far as being first. Maybe just kind of, you know, just being original you, because you are the only person of yourself in the entire world.
Right.
The originality just comes from self. You know what I mean?
How was your mom when you kind of renounced psychology? I mean, was she upset?
Oh, that's funny.
Was she
Actually,
on board? Like, I'm interested now.
that's actually a really good question. No, she was actually on board with the fact that I gave it a shot. She wasn't too upset that I was just kind of like, you know, this is a great subject to learn about, to read into. I got to thinking, you know, I'm a forward thinker, you know, I would say, and if I'm thinking 20 years down the line and waking up at 7 a.m. to go in and talk to some very down in the dumps kind of people.
Yeah.
And I don't say that, you know, to come off like that, but I mean, in a sense, you're taking care of people that are broken and need to
Well, yeah,
sort of
that's what you're
you know,
there for.
that's your
yeah.
like, imagine doing that for 20 years and how
That can
that
be
would,
draining.
how that would
Yeah.
absolutely
Well, you're like
just
there for.
drain your body in a sense. Just having a passion to want to help broken people, but in a sense, always being surrounded by it, all the time. Like,
it can be great for your mental health, you
No,
know, to hear
absolutely
people
not.
constantly thinking these
Yes.
things. I wonder if almost you kind of start to think the same thing. You know, that's scary.
I think in a sense all psychologists go crazy, and I'll never tell my mom that. But, you know.
Well, the question is she already there, or is she?
She's pushing it. She's pushing it. I'll be honest. No, but I love my mom. She's she's great. She's definitely taught me a lot about people and interactment, and
Yeah.
maybe a lot of things that like people who don't have a mom that majors in that subject. But no, you definitely learn a lot as a kid for sure. A lot about just interaction and getting along with people, and so.
I was kind of withholding this. I didn't know when I wanted to throw it in there, but my mom also did major in psychology as well.
That is awesome.
Yeah. It was psych and it was English.
Psych and okay.
Psych and English.
So
And
it's
then my
definitely
mom,
hand in hand.
yeah, and then she was going to be a lawyer. But she went back to school a second time to become a lawyer. So she got psych, English, and like she took, what do you take to be a lawyer? What's that test?
Bar
exam.
Take the bar exam. So if you think you're ever going to win a fucking argument with my mom,
Oh,
like it is beyond, you can't. There's no way in hell.
Exhibit A, Exhibit B, all laid out.
Right.
Exactly, yeah. But your mom had a chance to kind of pursue that, right?
Absolutely.
So is she with a school or is she with...
Yeah, she's a school psychologist back home in Tampa.
Okay.
So she's she's been in high schools, gone back to middle schools. Right now she's back in high school.
Ooh. So you know which one she liked more?
Personally,
Yeah.
I liked it better when she dealt with high schoolers, and I'll say that because think about it. If you're growing up and you're at that stage, you know what I mean? She's been doing this for about 13 years, but growing up into the teenage kind of stage that we're in, we'll post now, but back then, obviously, high school.
That's a tough time.
You definitely want a mom who works with kids who are relative to your age. Imagine if you had a school psychologist who worked with 6-year-olds and got the tendency to start thinking of treating and, sort of like, trying to, make a way out for a 6-year-old, and then having, teenagers at home coming and trying to talk to her. It's two different. Yeah, definitely beneficial.
And Zach, were your parents supportive of like videography?
Yeah, I mean, my parents never really argued over anything I wanted to do, and I consider myself to be really lucky. I mean, you don't really think, if you have parents like that, you don't really think about the fact that, there are some kids who've got parents who are like, no, you can't do this, you can't do whatever you want to do. I originally wanted to be a musician when I was super young, and my parents were like 100% for it. They bought me my first guitar when I was in kindergarten.
I know that.
Oh yeah, that's a good feeling.
And I did piano, and I still play piano a little bit. But yeah, and when I switched to videography, they were like full on, do whatever you want to do. They never really forced me to go in any certain direction. I consider myself to be pretty lucky because I recognize that there are some people who have parents who aren't as supportive.
No, definitely.
Yeah, we just
definitely.
never went there. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy, honestly.
Yeah.
To have
It's-
that backing is pretty good.
It's weird to talk about her now that she's gone, but I don't know if you guys picked up on this. Kind of early, Kim was talking about how her family was like, no, you moving to California, that's crazy. You getting into film, that's crazy. Like, that's a crazy thing to want.
Yeah.
And like,
Being told that at a young age too.
yeah, like that first of all, that has to be so like detrimental. They're like, hey, your thing's fucking crazy. Like, that's gotta hurt.
Just a little bit. Yeah.
But also, isn't it crazy in itself how certain people view like, me and Zach's major, and like, I don't know if you've ever come into stuff like that, Josh, but
About
like, because what I'm saying is that like Kim's family thinks that film is crazy, and that's like our major.
Yeah.
So isn't it crazy how just people have that different of opinion? Like, I'm sure people who think
it's not.
psych
It's
is like
not
a
that.
bullshit.
Oh,
degree.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's
There's
like-
tons. There's
I
tons.
think it just comes from the fact that they don't fully understand it.
Yeah.
It's
And that's-
easy to
that's
categorize
agreed.
something if you just know the surface level of what it is, or the
Absolutely.
stereotype of what it is.
Yeah.
But if you don't really understand something, it's easy to criticize it.
Absolutely.
That goes for pretty much anything.
100%.
I think.
But yeah, absolutely. Going back to that though, what you were saying is like with just the degrees in general. Yeah, going back and forth between audio engineering and marketing, and then trying to just get to a happy medium between the two is just like a little daunting.
Yeah.
And I just think I love doing both. I think I'd be a really great business marketer as far as what I think I can do in the future.
Yeah.
I really think I could be a great audio engineer as far as mixing and mastering music for other, artists. Figuring out both of them full-time jobs. I don't know how I could do that, but I'll find a way.
Have you encountered anyone that's actually like you've told that to, especially with the audio engineering, that's kind of been like, I don't know if that's a great way to, I don't know if I would do that. I was like the famous phrase, I don't know if I'd go that direction.
It's not everyone's cup of tea. But yeah, I've talked to my mom about it, and she's more than willing to be supportive. She just wants me to make sure that I'm making the right choice, and I don't blame her for that. So I've thought about it, and I've done research. I've put in the time and put in the effort, and then at the end of the day, the last question you need to ask yourself is, are you willing to do this for 4 years? Are you willing to take this degree on for 4 years, and are you willing to make it a career for however long you want it to be? The rest of your life, that's a lot to answer as a 21-year-old. I get that.
Oh,
but
dude, we have immense pressure put on us.
It's such a young age.
It's crazy,
Such a
yeah.
young age.
That's such like a malleable age too, where people can just,
Rip through-
conform you, or rip through you completely.
Just rip through your, just trying to, I wouldn't say manipulate, but just to try to steer you in a certain direction.
Exactly.
For
With
sure.
like varying degrees of force too, because you have people that just maybe say something every once in a while, and you have people that, and sometimes your parents,
Right.
that literally force your life in a direction.
Yeah.
Like it's just bizarre. Like I realize, we're all young. We can't really speak for how we're gonna treat our children. I think we all agree, like we would never try to like force our kids like into a corner. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, in terms of like what they could go for.
Right.
But I mean, don't you think our parents thought that too? Or like other people, maybe like Kim's parents. Like there's
It's
no
true.
way they go home at night and think, I'm steering my daughter towards this.
Here's the thing, and I think it's literally just a cycle of what we're just unaware of, is we don't know what the future is going to behold to have our kids think, that we're outdated, like how we feel about our parents now.
Right.
It's going to be completely, it's just like the cycle of it and how it happens. I feel like maturity, growing up and like seeing it as you age, and then looking back and saying, oh, well, I didn't have this, or I didn't have this as a kid, I didn't have that, and then seeing the next generation of kids coming up, and then something that they're using or technology that they're getting into is just something that's like beyond you. Like we're gonna get to that point.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
We're gonna get to that, and sooner than later.
Definitely.
Oh,
So it's
With the rate technology's moving, yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
gonna happen sooner.
There's a couple things I don't understand. You guys ever like read something on the internet you didn't get?
Yeah,
All the time.
yeah,
And it's
for
like,
sure.
It's like,
We're
I'm
not
21, I'm
old.
supposed to
20.
get things,
Isn't this
but
us? And then like a 15-year-old uses a word, you're like, I don't know what
What
that
does that mean?
means.
Yeah, I've noticed that. And I'm like, am I already getting old? Like, I don't get it. And I
We're
I think
getting
our
old.
attention spans are getting shorter.
Well,
that is
what's-
true.
And our
That
interests
is a
keep
fact.
jumping around, and I think like we're gonna become irrelevant in terms of our understanding of pop culture sooner than our parents did. That's what I'm thinking, because everything is moving so much faster.
It's definitely a lot faster than we think.
Yeah. That's a huge problem I have in terms of video work, because businesses don't want 5-minute videos that show off everything they do, that show all these things. They want a 30-second to a minute.
Style is changing.
Yeah, style's changing. Like they want it exactly how another business did it. We were talking about originality. It's just very unoriginal and very streamlined.
And it's very
And
short.
it's like sucking the creativity out of it.
Yeah.
What would you guys? Kim kind of summed it up, but I think we can all give our individual input. What would you guys say to someone whose parents are like seriously overbearing, like on their careers, like they're not necessarily manipulating their kids, but they're just like expressing their disapproval of the dreams that their kids have? Like, what do you think, like advice-wise, you would try to tell them?
Yeah. Personally, I would just say the best thing for them to do now is to understand, obviously, that they do want what's best for their kid, and that's fine, but to also start asking more questions. I feel like we're not asking enough questions as far as what is the new maybe not even asking what the new trend is, but just asking what's changing now, what's something that you might be into now that I didn't think my child would be into 10 years ago. Like, these aren't questions you ask on the daily, but I mean, something to at least stay relative, because you don't want to be like the mom that just goes home, makes dinner, comes home from work and just is kind of just stationary and does the same thing, and it's just very robotic. You really want to interact and get to know about trends and what your kids are into nowadays.
Yeah.
It's important.
I think that could also help protect your kids. That's what they always say for like, you don't want your kids like to do drugs or shit. Like,
Oh yeah.
Keep
Set
them
an example. Of some
Yeah,
sort.
just like see what they're doing, see what they're up
Check
to, see
out.
what this means
Right.
that they're doing.
Right.
So I think that's a really good point.
Definitely.
I think I would just say that, your parents aren't you at the end of the day.
Oh yeah.
And you aren't your parents, and you shouldn't feel like you have to be. Despite what they tell you. And I know probably at a young age it's hard to, rebel against your parents' wishes. But, at the end of the day, you got to recognize what really is going to make you happy, and pursue that above anything else.
I think the
Absolutely
biggest,
agree.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think the biggest thing I could tell anyone, and I think this kind of like goes to a certain extent in all aspects of life, but you have to be selfish sometimes. You are allowed to do things for you and for no one else. That is on you. If it's a career and people aren't supporting you, but you see a future in it, it's your dream, pursue it, and don't be afraid necessarily of who doesn't stand with you, because once you get in that field, you're gonna meet 1,000 people that are gonna stand by you, and you won't even think about. Maybe your parents, once your parents see you're successful, they'll understand, because they're just worried about your safety majority of the time, your security.
They look out.
Yeah, but I mean,
you never know what your passion is gonna be.
exactly.
That's just the one thing, because you don't want to be the 30-year-old, the 40-year-old, the 90-year-old saying, I could have been the world's greatest programmer, knowing that computers, technology, and programming and software was something that I was into as a kid, but decided to, choose a different major because my parents didn't obligate, but sort of steered me in that you don't want that regret.
Right.
I think the biggest thing now is to not have that regret now, understanding it now at an earlier age, and being able to act on it.
Absolutely, yeah. No missed opportunities and no regrets.
Absolutely.